in a blink of an eye that could change, and you have to really adapt right away. And it's nice, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still nice to plan ahead, but be a little bit more fluid also with the plan because things can change.
Welcome back to Positive Vibes. I'm Nicki Dennis. This space is all about the stories that remind us how strong the human spirit can be. Today's guest is living proof that even through life's hardest moments, gratitude can become the bridge between heartbreak and healing. Michelle Ferguson is an author and gratitude speaker whose story will take your breath away. After losing her husband and facing her own cancer diagnosis, she found her way through pain by focusing on what still remained: love, grace, and the quiet miracle of each new day. Through her books, A Love Like Ours and Grace, Grief, and Gratitude, A Journey of Resilience, along with her companion workbook, Michelle helps others turn grief into growth and suffering into strength. Michelle, welcome to Positive Vibes with Nicki Dennis.
Thank you so much, Nikki. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so humbled to be in your show.
You're most welcome, Michelle. So, Michelle, your story is one of incredible loss and love, and yet it's also one of light. Can you take us back to the moment when you began to discover how you discovered gratitude in the middle of the grief?
That's really a great question. So I've been practicing gratitude even before the diagnosis, but I really discovered the power of gratitude and how the positivity really helped me navigate this uncharted water. When
Mm,
Jerry and I were actually, when Jerry was diagnosed first, he was diagnosed in February of 2019. And when I was, you don't have to have a medical degree when you saw your husband there and all these changes and all those laboratories that's being done. And when the diagnosis came that our life that we plan ahead will never be the same, that in a blink of an
mm,
eye it change. And Jerry come from Midwest, so he has this always this positive vibes also. And so like, hey, I'm not dead yet, let's be
mm,
grateful, we have more time together. So I said regardless. So and okay, so it was kind of, and so we started like, I practiced gratitude alone, he practiced gratitude alone before. So the cancer, we practice gratitude together,
mm.
and it has become more powerful because then you see it through your partner's lens as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that became, so instead of just doing it every morning, we do it literally, um not, let's say, 24/7, but in the middle of the day or something like that. So that's where and it really helps. Like, don't
Mm,
get me wrong, like we experience all these other emotions too, like the anger, the disappointment, the frustrations, like why us, especially when 6 months after it was me. So we, and then so
mm,
like, so it was like, oh my gosh, like we're not really like together, but we are really in this together, like the C word in our house. And but we with gratitude and journalizing and saying it out loud, really, because we always joke that our mind can only handle one emotion at a time.
mm,
And and it's your choice. The moment you wake up, you have a choice on what day you're gonna be, what, whether you want to stay grumpy or you want to snap out of it. Acknowledge the emotion. And that's what
mm,
really I want to also tell, and message out there, that you have to acknowledge those emotions, but you have a
mm,
choice. Like the anger, the sad, the resentment, all these things, acknowledge it, process it, and gratitude will help you process it because it makes you focus on what you have right now instead of what's missing. And when we, for example, when Jerry's chemo will not go through because he had a low blood platelets, and we don't know whether the chemo would go or not, because you have to go there first and then do the laboratory, then you're waiting and waiting, and then find out. So then they say, oh, you cannot do this because of this and that with the lab results. And then we can, and then Jerry said, hey, look at it this way. We can go kayaking right now because I don't
mm.
have to go chemo. So it just kind of, positive mindset. Oh, and then, oh, we're grateful. So it changed the tone and the perspective of the day.
You sound like an absolute beautiful soul and an absolute wag of a person. So he must have been an absolute delight in your life.
He really was. It doesn't
Yeah.
start it that way though. No,
No? Yeah.
no. What I mean by that is that it's we came from different cultures. So just like any
Yeah.
marriages, there's always these challenges. So not only different cultures, but different beliefs also. So
Mm.
and that's why when and when we in my second book actually I talk about how intercultural marriages, how to work on it, and how gratitude can also help strengthen the marriage. And if you start with gratitude, because we all have individual differences regardless whether you grow up in Australia the same thing or I grow up in US or stuff like that, but if you focus on what you have in common instead of what the differences you have in regardless of religion or culture, with gratitude, that also strengthen our relationship. So it's a
Yeah.
work in process. It's I always say relationship is a marriage, it's a daily work. But yes, we did a great partnership, and he was such yeah, a great
Yeah.
additional part of me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to fathom that you've walked through two life-changing experiences, one of losing your husband and two, you facing cancer as well. What helped you find the courage to keep showing up each day?
What keeps me showing up each day is the promise that I keep to myself, and the promise that I said to him before he passed away. Um, so what does it mean? What does it mean? So when and also the love that we shared. So when Jerry decided to stop doing chemo, he said to me that you should find a good distraction that will keep you motivated throughout, as I'm gone. And of course, my four-legged son Spike that keeps me up
Mm.
also because he will make a mess if I won't wake up in the morning and show up. So, but so I he we decided together that I should take French lesson because I've always been fascinated with French. I took French in university for 2 years. Then I changed it because it was my professor was not so nice, and I figured I will not be able to make it. But it was we call it like I've always wanted it. So
Yeah.
Jerry said we should have that because then that will keep your mind occupied and always remember that life has to go on. He always motivated me, and when we have cancer together, and that was also during COVID, we have
Mm.
more time for each other, and there is no things left, as no stone left unturned. So we talk
Mm.
about what would life be if I go first, because we know when we were diagnosed that, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So
Mm.
we really have all the cards on the table, like if I will go first, but if he will go first. And one of the things that he said to me that life has to continue, Michelle, and that I'm always gonna have your six, whether not physically now. And go with your French. Promise me you'll get through with this, and you will have your French as good as your English. And so that what also keeps me going because I have homeworks. I go to really like intensive homeworks and things that
Mm.
I need. And plus, my full time job, I'm a financial advisor. So my clients, they choose me, I choose them, and that's what keeps me going. And most of all, with the moment I wake up, I start my day with gratitude.
Yeah.
Like even before my yoga. So as soon as my feet touches the floor, I say my gratitude, and that's what keeps me going. And friends all over the world that also connect with me and touch base with me, like I do karaoke virtually with even people from
Mm.
Argentina that I know and friends. So it's quite nice. It's a roller coaster journey, but that's what Beatles song. I get by a little help with my friends, and that's what really is too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, when you think back now, what did those seasons teach you about love, faith, and what truly matters?
What it really teaches me is that because to really take time to smell the roses, because we're
Mm.
so, especially like with our career and everything, it's just like tuck 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 tuck. You work at the speed, and you sometimes forget what really important is the here and now. Like I'm a
Mm.
planner, like I really plan, like I have smart goals, what I look 5 years, 10 years and everything, but in a blink of an eye that could change, and you have to really adapt right away. And it's nice, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still nice to plan ahead, but be a little bit more fluid also with the flood, because things can change.
Mm.
So take time to smell the roses. What also it taught me is that it really prepares. Love and grief. I always say that grief is the price of love. I always say that because if you grieve,
Mm.
if you're still grieving, so that means that you love that person. But
Mm.
it also helped me prepare. We say it in our gratitude that, you know what, we're so grateful. Who would say that we're grateful we have cancer, right? We said we're grateful we have cancer, and the why behind it is that now we really have the time, because we know that it's more closer than the
Yeah.
average as far as mortality. So we're more intentional in everything that we
Mm.
do towards ourselves, towards our friends, and we're creating more memories together. And what also that taught me as is how resilient human being are. How
Mm.
resilient I am, and talking about positive vibes and kindness. That there's really kindness. I'm fortunate and humbled enough that I have friends all over the world because of my former job, and I was so up to now humbled and truly blessed and grateful for the support that I get. Like we don't have families
Mm.
here Cape Cod, but we have extended families because my client become clients. The
Mm.
connectivity, Jerry's clients became our kind of extended family, and the support that I get and we get together. That was how you mentioned it earlier, Nikki, that there is more kindness in the world than we ever,
Mm.
regardless of what the social media and the and what's in the news and the journal. And it's really true because I'm the recipient of that and still is.
Mm.
And that really amazes me. It's like a gift that continue on giving, and that's what you,
Mm.
if you put out positive vibes, it comes back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, just listening to what you were saying there, it's a real aligning your life to what really matters. From one day you're having a lovely, healthy life, but you're actually not, you're actually taking that for granted to when you get diagnosed with cancer. It shocks you and it really changes your attitude and puts you into that alignment of what you're really here for, and having and being gratitude for, surviving cancer, but also being able to having time together and really live life, not waste life, because it's so precious. And that's real shock that sometimes the universe does to us in many different ways. It could be your health, or it could be one day you had money and the next day you didn't. It's interesting how things can life can put things in perspective and make you really focus back on to what really matters in life. So just on gratitude, you often say that gratitude became your lifeline. What does that look like in real life, especially on those days that you don't feel good?
That's really good. So it's when I don't feel good. So what I do in real life, so is in the morning I say my gratitude and then I write it down in a post-it. Okay, and I said it out loud. So I carried it with me if I'm in the office, in my car, something. Now we know that life throws us curveballs and some
Mm.
challenges and some all these emotions. So sometimes this is how it looks like. If it's really, really the thing that it gets to my nerves, I'm really gonna be drastic, sir. So I let that. Sometimes I go to my car, just like, like that, and then I read it out loud. My post-it as to what am I grateful for, and then
Mm.
you would sometimes, Nikki, you would love this because I could really hear it in my mental, like the change in my voice when I'm really like depressed or anger in the middle of the day. I'm human. I'm not a robot, so I'm
Mm.
not. So I said, oh my God, I'm so mad. And then I go that, and then I could hear the change of the tone because when you said it out loud, it's different. And then I said,
Mm.
I'm grateful, and then oh, I'm grateful, and I said, oh, I'm grateful. So because the more you said it, and sometimes I even said it 10 or 15 times until I could hear the change in my voice. like it
Yeah.
becomes positive. Yeah. So that's really how it is. And the moment I wake up at 5 a.m. until I go to bed to 2200, that that's how it is.
Yeah. So, how does choosing gratitude change your relationship with grief?
That's a great question. So choosing gratitude changed the way I look at grief because I was able to grieve with grace.
Mm,
I was able to focus on the memories that we had and smile about it because it makes me who I am today, and I will never have it any other way. Don't get me wrong, I would love to have Jerry here too, but everything
mm,
happened for a reason. And as I was saying earlier, that gratitude helps you focus on what you have instead of what's missing in your life. And if I look back on the maps that I have here at my background, if I have, I'm so blessed and humbled that I have those 25 years with him, that
mm,
that full of memories, full of laughters. I was in Port Douglas with him. I dove at Great Barrier Reef. I mean, he was snorkeling because he was not a diver. So just talking about you right now brings smile to my face,
mm,
and that's the gratitude. And there are times, don't get me wrong, that because grief it comes like a wave. You know, it
mm,
just shocks you. And I cried. Don't The other day I cried. A couple of weeks ago was his death anniversary. I cried, but then I look at, because I journalize with gratitude. Then I just read my journal and what am I grateful for, and what would he would say if he's still around here.
yeah. Yeah. So, Michelle, can you share a moment when gratitude shifted everything, when it helped you see hope where there was once only heartbreak?
That's a great question. So it was. There's still a little bit of a heartbreak. I wanna really say, because it
Mm,
does, and I think I will always say that, and I think widows can relate it as well, or parents that lost their kids. That when Jerry is upon Jerry's death, it also changed. I always say that half of me is gone in a way
mm,
because it's part of me. So that will always be something that, I mean, that's our lives together. That's my life with him, and that's always gonna be thing. And I'm grateful for that one because it shapes me who I am. But what also gives me hope is that's like, where it might be fitting right now because we're experiencing fall here, so the leaves are falling and the change of colors. But in that next spring comes too, right? I mean, there's the long dark winter
mm,
and that's where I'm able to write the book. But then spring comes, that it's a renewal. And what makes me more hopeful also, and more like I could say it like sparkling life a little bit, because it opens a lot of doors for friendship as well.
yeah.
My French is really getting better. I'm launching the French version of my book, A Love Like Ours, next month on my birthday in Chalon-sur-Saône.
Mm,
So that's so it, a little by little, day by day. And and again, if you choose, yeah, the moment you wake up you have a choice, right, whether you're gonna be have. And it helps me look at that, there's more beauty to life. And
mm,
the feedback that I received from the A Love Like Ours, and the workshop that I did, and now it's part of the Grace, Grief, and Gratitude. It helps couple of widows. Some of them are my clients, and some are friends of theirs.
mm,
And it makes me. I look at it like, if my story and Jerry and I's story helps resonates with one or three person, and it helps them better cope up with stress or cancer or being
mm.
a caregiver, then I live a place better than I found it. And that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Michelle. So, just on your book, the book title, Grace, Grief, and Gratitude, those are three words that carry so much meaning. How do they work together in the healing process?
Great question. So, how do they work together? First, you really have to acknowledge the grief. You really
Yeah.
have, and there's a book about there that 7 days. I mean, not 7 days. The seven stages of grief and
Mm,
everything. But I always say it to the one. I'm not a mental professional, but from my experience, I have to have this full disclosure. From my experience, we all grieve differently. So there's
yeah.
really no SOP for grieving. It's the same thing, like, each cancer patient react differently with chemo and radiation. So what I'm saying that is that really process your grief,
Mm.
really let the really emotion sink in. Don't and when you're grieving, and I experience it too, people would say like, oh, don't do anything in 2 years, or don't do this, all these other things. And I mean, it's not, people will be giving advices, friends will be giving you advices, but you have to really do it on your own time. So
Yeah.
first, really acknowledge this grief journal. I mean, if there are days, and believe me, there are weekends that I only go to my backyard because for Spike, otherwise I would really just be in my bed and grieving. So so give yourself permission to do that. That's
Mm.
what I meant by that, because it cannot just happen overnight. And also, as again, it's been 4 years now, but it still comes like a waves,
Yeah.
and or I call it like sometimes a blizzard. so acknowledge that, and how would and start journalizing your feelings, because it really helps. And
Mm.
then when you start adding gratitude into that one, so like, then you started to heal. And then
Yeah.
you started to so that's why I said grace, grief, and gratitude. And with
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I took from that is you really need to be kind to yourself on those
Yeah.
days where if you can only get to the backyard, that's fine. You know, it's step by step. And yeah, and I love that you mentioned that there's books out there, on the 7 stages of grief, but everyone's different on how they process it. And yeah, to take your own advice, not others' advice, and just feel with it with your own self, because again, we're not robots. We all are wired differently. So just, yeah, be kind to yourself and lean into it. So,
And thank
Michelle,
you for showing
sorry.
up. and
Yes.
and thank yourself, because we're always giving compliment to others. That's how we are as
Yeah,
humans, and as women, like, but and we're the worst critics of ourselves. So that's where the
absolutely.
grace comes into, regardless whether you're grieving or, whatever stage in your life is. And I'm guilty at that too. Before I became a widow, like, I always like do my SWOT analysis of myself. So
Mm.
so we have to be our own advocate as well.
Yep.
And so thank you. So that's what, when I sometimes I say, what are you grateful for? Sometimes, Michelle, I have my friend questioning me, like, because I have a podcast like Gratitude Journey with Michelle, which I would love to have you, Nikki.
Yeah.
And and she was like, I'm not gonna say, well, the moment you wake up, you should be grateful. And remember, I showed up today, and so, and then it will change your mind.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love your positivity in that space. Waking up, you got to be grateful that you woke up. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly right. Yeah, even before
Yeah.
coffee, got to be grateful.
Absolutely. So, Michelle, you teach that resilience doesn't come from avoiding pain, but actually from honoring it.
Yeah.
What does that mean to people who are still in the middle of their grief?
I I'm still in the middle sometimes. I could say it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Um, how does it? So resilience, because we always we I would look at it that in the middle, like I could just share from my experience, because again, so when grief comes to me or visited me, I took, because I think I should go back a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
journalizing helps for me. And me, I'm from old school. I really write it down, because then it's more and you might try it or not. So when grief comes to me, I go back to my tools. So that's where the resilience is, because resilience also doesn't happen overnight. Right?
Mm.
So I go. So it's not like, oh, you wake up now, I'm Wonder Woman. How I wish I can, right? But now, I mean, we're all Wonder Woman, but it doesn't happen also overnight. She has to train as well. So it's really it's also like training. It's just like when we go to the gym, we do the yoga to
Mm.
practice. I mean, to have these moves and to build the strength, and that's what resilience also. So it doesn't happen overnight. Just like gratitude practice, it's daily. It says, so when those things comes, I go back to my tools, which is my journal. I reach out to friends, also the circle of friends. When I said like to get by a little help with my friend, I have a gratitude accountability partner that reminded me. So we have this one word that will kind of like a clue or a code that will help me snap out of it. So
Hmm.
that's where the resilience comes also. And sometimes also it happens to me that I just really sit when it comes to grief and just listen and close my eyes or meditate and just listen to my breathing. It also helps you build resilience. You know that you're alive. And that's where the yoga really comes to play as well, the breathing and everything and the meditation. And it builds you that resilience. So resilience doesn't happen overnight. You have to also build it and have the tools.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always things out there that can help people in different ways. For you, it's journaling. For other people, it might be singing. So again, it's for everyone out there. It's just trying to find what suits them because we're all wired differently. So yeah, it's just trying things to see what actually resonates with them. So Michelle, for someone listening who feels broken right now, what would you say to help them take the first step towards healing?
For someone that's still grieving or brokenhearted, what I would say is look back at when what the relationship was, you know, and try. I know sometimes you have to dig deeper. Try to really ask yourself, with all this, what are the things that makes you smile,
Mm.
and if you, what are the things that you love about him or her, what are the things that you guys do all together, if you have some traditions, some rituals, and try to do it again, and see how it feels like, how you make you feel. Then maybe you don't want to do it anymore. Maybe you could start your own tradition, or on yourself, your new ritual. The other thing also is that, what it is, and it helps me. What is it that I wanna, or what is it that you wanna do before the relationship and or during the relationship, because your relationship is compromised, that you're not able to do, because you have to really, when you are when you lose someone, either by divorce or by death, there's always that part of you that you have to reinvent yourself, especially if you're a widow and you've been married for a long time, like me, for 25 years. So you really have to uh, find something that would um, go back to your inner self. That's what I was trying to say. Like, go back to your inner self, listen to, and always listen to your guts. It's there for a reason. And if you have to dig deeper, for sure, we're all, there's always some kind of positivity in your mind when you're writing this or singing this, and then focus on that. Acknowledge that emotion, focus, and let it linger for a while. Then
Mm.
slowly by slowly, it becomes your routine.
Yeah, yeah. So Michelle, you've mentioned before that you wake up every day with gratitude. Can you walk us through your morning ritual, how you begin your day on purpose, even when life feels heavy?
Okay, so um, I could start when I wake up in the morning. I wake up at 5 a.m. So I always say like good. I say good morning to Spike. I say good bonjour because I'm full immersion here at the house. And then after that, I say I'm grateful that I'm awake today. I'm grateful from the learnings that I have from yesterday, and I'm so grateful that I have another day to spread positivity and to show gratitude to the world. So that's how I start the day, and then after that, I do my yoga, either 30 minutes or 45 minutes, depending on my schedule. And then after that, I write down in 3 words, what am I grateful for more, like one, one word. And
Mm.
then I both write it in French and in English, so I could mentally my brain. And then I put it in my wallet so that when I experience different corbels along the day, I said it out loud. So
Huh?
and then when I come back home, I also end my day with gratitude. So,
Mm.
because one of my gratitude practice is that I and actually started after Jerry's death, is that I write down. I write letters, one letter or one card per week to people, to any individuals that touch my lives and shape me as to who I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm really intentional. Like I wrote to my former German boss, like, like, thank you very much. Looking back now, I really appreciate all the tak organizational skills. It helps me. So it's really it's so and so when the evening comes, I look at my list as to who I will send, and I'm from. I mean, there's such a different feeling when writing that card physically and mailing it, I know, instead of the emails and stuff. So
Mm.
I end my day with that one. And then what's also cool about it is that when you're thinking about these memories and who shapes you and focus on gratitude, then it brings smile to your face. You get a little bit of nostalgic, but also it
Mm.
brings smile and it brings you like it made you who you are today. So that's
Yeah.
how I end my day. And I do also at 15-20 minute yoga before I go to sleep.
Yeah, wow. I love your gratitude practices, how you reinforce them throughout the day because we can get so caught up in the world, but how you keep saying that throughout the day and really anchoring you in your peace. And then at the end of the day, writing a gratitude to someone that's, touched your life in some way and where you've become the person you are today and actually send them a nice message. It's beautiful practices that we can engage in our daily lives as well. It's a beautiful way to anchor ourselves in peace. So it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. So, Michelle, what's one act of kindness or gratitude that has stayed with you through your journey?
One act of kindness is that when you are when you're interacting with someone and maybe they are not so nice to you, that's more the opportunity to show kindness and
Mm.
gratitude to them. Don't the don't take it personally because you don't know what they are going through.
Mm.
So if you, and human beings responds to kindness regardless of their situation, but if you also responded it with the same behavior that they have, then it's not going to be great
Yeah.
experience. So that's really what I'm really mindful with, that with when I interact with anyone, especially someone that and we're guilty at it with family members, for instance, right? Because we expecting them that they know our emotions, they could read our emotions, and then we just like flare up. So I'm become more mindful with that one, with my close circle, with my immediate family, and even with strangers. Before I was just like, oh, and then said no, I shouldn't be, because I should, and I'm really mentally, the moment I step out of my garage, I really have that, and there's sticky in my car as a post-it just to really remind me, and then eventually it just becomes natural.
Mm. That's gorgeous. Thank you, Michelle. So, do you have a quote or a mantra that carries you throughout the day?
The mantra that I got with for the day is that, and this is what Jerry and I had been saying before too, and it's just been continuous, that like there's always something to be grateful for, even if you have, sometimes you have to dig deeper.
Mm.
And I always say that, and I always say that even in the middle of the day, when I have some difficulties, when I receive some bad news or something, and I just go to my car if I'm in the office and process the emotion, get to my post-it, read it out loud, and then there's something to be grateful. And then I breathe. Yoga really helps, Nikki. I
Yeah.
really breathe. Yeah, because when you breathe also, it actually, breathing is one way to really distress,
Yes.
because it dreams like,
Control.
and you notice it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, control that nervous system. Yes.
Exactly.
And what does positive vibes mean to you in your life right now?
So positive vibes. I'll go back to Albert Einstein's. I cannot quote it verbatim, but it's really like you attract what you put out there. So it's just, it's not
Mm.
think it's really physics. So if you're putting a positive energy, you attract positive energy too, and positive
Mm.
vibes. And positive vibes for me right now is also being true to who you are, be
Yeah.
authentic also. And positive vibes also is spreading your positivity.
Mm-hmm.
But if it can help someone, and that's why I said, if someone is, one of your friends is grumpy and you walk into that door and you become grumpy also, then it spreads the room. You notice it like in the aura of the
Mm.
room, right? If someone is stressed. So I even changed, like we always say, like, thank, instead of saying like I'm sorry, I'm just like, oh, thank you for waiting, because then it puts that other person not in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Because if you are waiting, they say, okay, where is she? Where is she? And she come like, oh, you made me wait. But if you will say, oh, thank you for waiting, I had traffic, then it kind of uh
Yeah.
it's more
Changes them.
positive
Mm.
influence, positive atmosphere than negative. So that's what positive vibes for me, choosing also the words and being mindful. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. So you've shared your story so openly through your books and speaking. What's been the most rewarding part of watching others heal through your message?
What's really the rewarding part is the first time that I had my author's talk. I think that's really like the first time, like you will always remember that, and it will be. So when
Mm.
I received three, and it was really because it was a handwritten card that was sent
Yeah.
to my office, because they don't have my residence address. And she was like, it really helps, your book helps me, because now I'm really gonna prepare for my future, having my
Mm.
last will and testament guide, having the survival guide. And so for me, that's what I said, like if I just help one or three person, I leave the place better than I found it. And
Yeah.
they're doing it. And what's even really touched my heart deeply is that they came to my office with their own survival guide, basing on my book. So I
Mm.
was so touched. So that was really warmed my heart, that said, "Oh my God, someone is really reading my book and doing
Yeah.
and doing survival guide." Yeah. So that was, and I think that one, because it's my, because when I wrote the book, Nikki, I never, for me it's also my healing thing and sharing my story, but it's all
Mm.
the grief and the emotions that there's no place to go, right? So that
Yeah.
was really it. And then when it comes to life, like I said, and I published it in 2023, and I did some authors talk locally here, but not really, like I never really talk about it in social media until recently, when some of my clients and some I get all this review. I said, like, maybe there should be that. I said, I should practice what I preach. I should be doing positivity. And so
Yeah.
that's the reason why now it's and everything happened for a reason. So I think it's the timing is right also now.
Yeah.
The-
And you've got to also think about, like, if you, what you mentioned there, if you helped one, two, or three people, those one, two, or three people would have helped someone because of you. And then those one, two, and three people that were helped would have helped someone else. So you never know how many people you are touching from just those one, two, or three people. You
It's
know,
the ripple
that's
effect.
the ripple effect. Yes. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. The positive vibes.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah. So for those who want to go deeper into your work or begin their own gratitude journey, where can they find you online?
So there's a couple of ways that you could find me online. My website first is simwamichelleferguson.com. And what's in there, it's about my story, but there's also the events. So like the book launch, like for November 8th, for instance, I'm doing the global book launch for Grace, Grief,
Mhm.
and Gratitude. And there will be some special prizes during the whole event. So it's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. East Coast time. So that will be evening Australian time.
Mhm.
So they could and in Facebook and Instagram, I'm Simwa Michelle Ferguson. And
Mhm.
I put the Simwa there because there's so many Michelle Ferguson. But if you do
Yeah.
Simwa Michelle Ferguson, then it's easier. So they could find me there, and there you have my books, the events, and so on as well, and some gratitude practice or some gratitude quote that I shared on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's it. And my book is available in in Amazon right now.
Yeah.
Also available in Amazon Australia, and the A Love Like Ours is available in Apple and iTunes. And the Grace, Grief, and Gratitude will be on November 8th. And my French book, oh my gosh, I have to plug that now. My gratitude countdown, 28 more days to go. For that.
Wow. Wow, I'm sure there's lots of listeners out there, Michelle, that will be looking you up and also looking up to where to get your book as well. And all the best with your launch in 28 days as well.
Thank you.
So finally, Michelle, if someone was listening today is standing on the edge of change or grief, what would you want them to know about hope?
There's always hope. You might feel alone. Um, when you really, one thing that helped me is that I also write down and also mentally, like, who are the two or your go-to person that makes you feel
Mm,
home. Okay, so if you are really in the things that you feel so depressed and down, that there's that the it's a long winter nights, and call that, reach out. The other thing also, if it's you cannot reach out for some reason, uh, go back to your childhood things that what or place that you make you feel safe. For me, it's underwater. So when
mm,
I'm really like I think of, well, the Great Barrier Reef is not as good as it is now because of, but I think of all the diving that I had and how tranquil it is. How so and you're really not alone. And just like um, winter, spring will come,
mm,
and just like when we are pouring rain, or when there's no there's rainbow. So it's nothing is permanent. It Things change, situation change, and also don't be afraid to ask for help.
mm.
Sometimes women, the resilience, we just really like keep in ourselves. It's okay. It doesn't make you less of a person to ask for help.
Yeah. And be open to receive.
Yes, and add that, ask for help and be open to receive. Thank you, Nikki. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's one thing a lot of people find it hard. They love to give, but find it hard to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
Well,
open.
thank you, Michelle. You've been an absolute pleasure today.
Thank you, Nikki. Again, I'm so humbled, and your show. Best of luck for sure. It will be grow big, and whatever your vision is, because this positive vibes, the world really needs it, and the world needs more. So thanks to you. You're giving voices to positive vibes and sharing it across the globe.
Thank you. Well, Michelle Ferguson's story reminds us that gratitude doesn't erase the pain, it transforms it. Through loss, illness, and new beginnings, she has shown that grace can live right alongside grief, and that every sunrise brings a chance to start again. You can connect with Michelle and explore more of her beautiful work at her website, or follow her on Instagram and Facebook for daily reflections, books updates, and stories of gratitude and love. This is Positive Vibes with Nicki Dennis. Until next time, may you find the beauty in small things, strength in the storms, and gratitude in every heartbeat. Sending you all love and positive vibes. Bye for now.